Hi, my name's Naina and today we're going to be talking about the Orthokey Malt from Amrutam and joint health as per Ayurveda. You might be thinking, why on earth do I need to worry about my joints now? I'm young, I'm healthy. Actually, what we do need to consider is that when we understand the Ayurvedic perspective of joint health, we understand the importance of looking after our health now and why tissues such as the bone, the nervous system and our colon play a big role in ensuring the health of our joints later on in life. So the two key things to think about when we're looking at something like osteoarthritis or rheumatoid arthritis, where the joints are very inflamed, can be swollen and painful and stiff, is that they are associated with long lingering armour in our system, as well as a chronically low Agni. So the chronically low Agni is what precipitates the level of armour constantly being formed in our body. Now, at the beginning stages of this, the armour level will be so low and residual we might not notice its symptoms for a long time. It's kind of there in the background and it's never actually made itself clear. Over time we ignore this and it can build up and up and up into our system. So the Vata dosha is the key one that starts moving this armour into defective spaces in our body. In this case, when we're looking at joint problems, it lodges itself into our joints. The Pitta dosha is associated when the joint is very hot and inflamed, and the Kapha dosha is associated when there is swelling in the joint. All of these different doshas will have different types of armour behind them that are causing this issue. So again, it's due to the low level of Agni that is producing specific types of armour, either Vata, Pitta or Kapha, and then going into the circulation and lodging itself into the joints. Over time, this builds up and causes our signs and symptoms of joint disease. So you will generate different types of armour depending on the type of Agni that you have. It might be Vishama, Tikshna or Manda. If you need to refresh yourself on what these three are, you can check out the link in the caption to the video explaining this. So I'm going to put this into a context that's going to help you to understand what happens in our joints and the Ayurvedic perspective on it. So can you imagine you've got your kitchen or bathroom sink and the pipe that runs underneath it, so the water supply, is got the U-bends. So it's when the pipe is all different lengths and has its curves and bends and it works its way around a building. So this junction where there's a change in direction is associated with our joints. Over time, you're using the bathroom, you're using the kitchen, and whatever you're flushing through those pipes will have a tendency to become stuck in those U-bends or in that change of direction when the flow of energy is not strong enough. It's also affected when the temperature changes, for example, if it becomes too cold, too hot, the stickiness of the material that's passing through the pipes, so many different factors. Over time, if that residue becomes stuck, eventually the water won't even be able to flow at all through that junction. And then what happens? We end up getting a problem in our plumbing. So exactly the same thing happens with our joints. The water is like the energy flow that's flowing through our body, the prana, you could say. Over time, if we don't keep our channels clear, if we don't keep our joints supple, flexible and free from armour, that residue builds up in the joint. That armour has become lodged in there, and over time it becomes so much. When the flow of energy is not able to move through, we get the signs and symptoms depending on the type of residue that's stuck in that particular bend of the pipe. If we had to fix this plumbing issue, how would we do it? We would get detergent, a strong chemical normally, and push it through the pipe with lots of hot water. So you need something to dissolve the residue. You need warm heat to be able to also promote that dissolution. And thirdly, you need to flush the pipe. So you need to flush something through it. And this is how Ayurveda essentially treats joint disease. The combination of processes that essentially dissolve this armour and allow the energy to push through the pipe and flush out the armour, taking it away and allowing the energy to flow again, and you'll notice some relief in the pain. Also involved in Ayurvedic approach is the application of warm oil, normally medicated oil. So once this oil seeps into the deeper tissues, it lubricates that armour and it's able to dissolve and be taken away. And that's exactly what this Orthokey malt does. So it has key ingredients in there that will allow the Vata, Pitta and Kapha to be balanced in order to clear that junction of the joint and remove the residual armour that's built up. So something like Sudh Guggulu, which is in there, so it's Guggulu combined with Giloy and Triphala, which help to reduce the pain, the swelling and the heat from the joint, as well as Hashringa, which helps to balance Vata and Kapha dosha. It's also got some minerals in there like Swam, Basam and Rogendra Ras, which you don't commonly find in allopathic medicines that are incredibly powerful for treating our joints. So that's about how Ayurveda treats our joint pain. Incredibly fascinating. The key thing you have to think about when you're treating your joint problem is to fix the digestion and keep the armour level in the body low. So you've got to understand the nutrition and health of the bone so that you're able to support its nourishment. In Ayurveda, this is called the Ashti Dhatu, and it's predominantly made up of the air and the earth element. So the home of the Vata dosha is the colon. The mucous lining of our colon is responsible for the nourishment of our bones with the absorption of calcium and minerals. If our colon isn't healthy, if that mucous layer isn't healthy in our colon, we're not going to be absorbing minerals, and therefore our bones won't be nourished. We can notice the health of our bones through the byproducts of its production, which are the hair, nails and teeth. Interestingly, in females, the calcium absorption is also regulated by the estrogen level in the body. So for females, after their cycle has finished and their body's no longer producing estrogen, it's likely that their bones will not be supported by calcium as much and they need more support. So ladies, look after your colon now and therefore nourish your bones with a healthy calcium level so that you don't encounter problems later on in life. Now this is really interesting, I think, because when you're a female and you're looking at beauty, or males as well I suppose, whenever you're looking at beauty, we always look at making sure we have lovely hair, we want to have nice nails, and we want to have nice, clean, straight, strong teeth. This is all associated with having a healthy colon because it nourishes the bone tissue. And I also think this is a really good example to show that beauty really does come from within. So we're going to keep our digestion balanced so that the armour level stays low, and be aware that the issue arises from long lingering armour. It's not like it's a straightaway thing that occurs spontaneously. Rheumatoid arthritis and osteoarthritis occur as a process and a progressive disease state. Most disease states are like this, but the trouble is we lack the awareness to act on it early enough to prevent it. So this sort of knowledge is so beneficial to us as a youth, because then we can start making sure that when we're looking after our colon and our digestion and keeping the armour clear from the body, we're doing ourselves huge favours later on in life in terms of our joints. Another thing that I'd like to mention is it's also about the energy flow through your body. So don't allow your energy to become stagnated and stuck. Like, allow you to be you and to be that movement, to be that body of service, to keep the energy flowing through. It's a bit like flushing through the pipes to make sure that everything keeps moving. And even better, when you put that energy through your body that's nourishing and good for you and healthy with your diet, you're adding these little things that really clean that pipe to keep the energy flowing, essentially. Another really good tip I would say for joint health for a younger generation, but also older generation too, is the Muktasana series 1 and 3 in yoga, which work with the joints and releasing energy blockages from these places too. So doing these daily practices will help to keep the energy flowing and keep the joints flexible and healthy. So if you're suffering with the joint problems, do think about taking the Orthokey Gold Malt. It's very, very good. It's got all the Ayurvedic medicine in there that is suitable for releasing that armour from the joint to get some relief. Alongside this, I would strongly advise to balance the digestion and support your body to get rid of the armour by making sure that you're regularly eliminating, exercising and keeping your mind balanced. So to take this malt, you just take 1 to 2 tablespoons with some warm water twice a day. Just be aware when you first take it, the armour is going to be coming out. So sometimes people experience a bit of a surge in symptoms and they might notice a bit of worsening, but don't panic. Just keep taking, and you can always write in and double check any issues. But it should start to release that armour and allow your body to support the digestive system so that it can eliminate the armour that's released from that joint. So regular application of Mahanarayan oil is also very good for keeping the joints supple and healthy by balancing the Vata dosha. I hope that's been useful for you. If you're a female watching this, you can now see that it's incredibly important to look after your bones from now. But obviously guys too, it's important for you. If you really want to go into your old age and still do the travelling, still do all the dancing, still be alive and full of life, keeping your joints healthy is one of the best things that you can do. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to write into us and we'd be happy to help.